Hey, welcome back everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. I'm Chad, and on the right line today, we're starting a new project. I'm super excited for this one. We're starting a new overland trailer build. But before we get into putting the trailer together, we need to stop at one of my favorite places here in Gilbert, SDHQ, Super Duty headquarters, to get some more supplies. Stay tuned. SDHQ is the place to go. They have aisles and aisles and aisles of fabrication stuff and really neat stuff in there. Tabs, gussets, clamps, you name it. That's where I go to get some of that pre-cut stuff. I'll show you what I've got when I get home. Welcome back. I got back from Super Duty, came home, and I have to admit I didn't bust out the camera to start filming because I wanted to take a little time to get this square. I had already pre-cut all these pieces like a week ago because it was going to rain and this stuff was outside, but anyhow, got some beads on some of the major joints here. This is actually 4 feet wide by 6 feet long with a 4-foot tongue, so 10 feet long total, 4 feet wide. It'll be about 2.5 feet tall with walls, and that'll come in a later video, of course. No professional welder, of course, but I do pretty good. This is going to have a 3,500 pound axle with brakes. It's probably a little bit overkill for a trailer of this weight. I think it might come in at about 1,000 pounds when I'm done, but we'll see. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm so glad that I have such a smart wife. Get yourselves smart wives. Let's see if I can do this without burning the lens of my camera. And that is the duty cycle of my poor Lincoln. God, I hate this welder. Well, I'll have to clean this one up. I'll have to clean that one up when the welder cools down. I'm only using this Lincoln 140. It's a 110 volt welder. It's not bad, but the duty cycle just sucks. I've laid 1.5 feet of welds here today, and it's already hot and shut off. You know, hey, whatever. At least now I can pick this up and I can move it in the garage and I can store it in the corner where it's going to be stored when it's done. But at least now with some solid beads on it, I feel good about picking it up so it's not going to just fall apart with tack welds. For those of you who are wondering, the tongue and the 2 sides here are 3/16 wall. The 2 front pieces, the cross member and the solid rear piece, is 1/8 inch wall. Everything else is going to be 1/8 inch wall. The only pieces that were 3/16 were the longest pieces, the sides and the tongue. I love it when UPS Santa shows up. All right, let's see. All of these parts come from each trailer. What did we get? Okay, so those are our taillight boxes. I've got to get lights for those. Tongue jack. Nice. What else have we got in here? Oh, we got our coupler. 2-inch ball, 2-inch channel. 3,500 pound. Paper, I love paper. Alright, what else do we got in here? But, oh, that might take 2 hands to get that out of there. My Jeep style fenders came for the trailer. They can be trimmed, but I like how they've got the rib in there for strength. That'll be kind of nice to have. We got the coupler, I showed you that. Tongue jack, I showed you that. Light boxes, I showed you that. eTrailer.com, that's where I got it all. All right, last thing I'll do before I close out this video is show you what I picked up at Super Duty headquarters today. Were gussets, cutouts. They make all kinds of gussets. These are all 1/8 inch thick. I got a handful of these. I got a handful of these larger ones. These larger ones will go over the joints for the tongue. Excuse me. These will be the ones that go on the joints between the front pieces and the side pieces. And then these two here, a little bit larger. These two will go basically as sort of fish plates right here and over there. The real small ones will be little gussets in here and there and over there and over there, and then the medium-sized ones here will be on these joints right there and right up there, over there and there. So, you know, maybe a little overkill, but just to add a little bit of oomph to it. Today we're working on the Overland trailer. This will be video number 2. Where I left you off last time, we had just kind of laid out the framework of the trailer and hadn't really begun much welding. But I've done a whole bunch of welding since you last saw it. But let me show you where I am right now. So in the time since you last saw me, I've pretty much got the framework of the trailer all done. As I mentioned before, it's 4 feet wide by 6 feet long. It's gonna have a 3-foot tongue, and I'll go over that in just a second. But since you saw it last, I've added gussets in the main corners here, plus at halfway at this cross member, and underneath this joint here, and that main joint right there, I've put 2 large 3/16 fish plates to help support the load across that front beam and the cross member. Framework's looking pretty good. Today, we start construction on the tongue. 2 things that were really important about the tongue. Number 1, I wanted to make a removable coupler. Number 1, because, I mean, God forbid this were ever to get damaged, I could replace it easily because it just bolts on. But also, number 2, if I ever decide to upgrade to an articulating off-road hitch, it'll slide right into my receiver tubing right here. The other thing that's important about this tongue, and the thing that really frustrated me most about our camper, was that when the camper was attached to the Jeep, I couldn't open the tailgate. Now, to open the tailgate with the trailer connected, I need 33 inches of space between the front of the box and the tailgate. If the tailgate were right here swinging in like this, of course, if you can imagine that. So, from the box to the end of the tongue, I'm at 36 inches, so that's going to be perfect. The goal today is to kind of grind some of the paint off the receiver blank, drill some holes in it for rosette welds, weld it onto the tongue back here, cut it off underneath so I can make a receiver blank, bolt on my coupler,
to do what I've got to do here, I got to take all the powder coating off this receiver blank. I'm going to take some of the powder coating off the inside of the receiver blank. I drilled rosette plug holes here so I can weld it onto the tongue.
And I started with the blank for the coupler, and of course I marked top and forward so I know where it is, but this is the 5/8 hitch pin that's going to go into the hitch itself, and then these are 1/2 inch holes, and my plan is with those is that one side is going to get drilled to 1/2 inch, the other side is going to get drilled to just over a 1/2 inch, because I bought some, it may not be needed, but I'm going to do this anyway. I bought some metal round bar, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are going to be the length of the inside wall, inside size of this, so I can drop it into the hole and weld it in. And then that way when I tighten up these bolts, I don't crush the tubing. Welcome to the channel. It's Chad from The Right Line. We're working on the Overland trailer today. Already mounted the, just tack welded into place the leaf spring perches on our 3,500 pound axle here. Measured 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times and then tack welded once. I've already double checked them across the width of the frame and they're right on at 46 inches center to center with a 48 inch frame. Today's debate is where to put this axle under the trailer. Now there is a formula online that you can go and look up, and it has to do with where this axle should be in place, and it has to do with tongue weight, overall width of the trailer. It's a formula, and whether or not you want the tongue weight to be 10 to 15% above or below the whole total weight of the trailer. And I thought about using that equation, but there's a few things that I'm missing. Like right now I can estimate what I want the tongue weight to be, and I could probably estimate what the total weight of this trailer is, but those are two variables. I don't know what they are. There is another, more crude way of doing it, and it did catch a little bit of controversy on the last trailer that I built, which is the 60-40 rule. Now it's a good place to start. It's not gospel, but basically what the 60-40 rule says is that 60% of the trailer should be in front of the axle and 40% should be behind the axle. So I went ahead, I did the math. If I mount this at 60%, that means my axle is going to be right here. Okay. And if I go 55%, I think it's right over here. Right where that axle is sitting right now is at 60% of the box of the trailer in the front and 40% in the back. Doing this brings into some questions like, how is this trailer gonna be weighted? Right over the top of this trailer, basically between the rear and the forward end of the box, right over the center of that cross member is going to be the rooftop tent. And I believe my rooftop tent was 120 or 30 pounds ish. So if I go by 60% here, that means, and nothing more than just the rooftop tent, that means the majority of that rooftop's weight is going to be in the front, which is okay because we want tongue weight. We want some tongue weight so that the trailer is, it behaves behind the Jeep. If there's too little tongue weight, then the trailer is going to drive erratically behind the Jeep, and it's going to tend to drive the Jeep. And you've seen some videos online about that with weight distribution inside of the trailer. So the rooftop tent and the awning are going to go on this trailer. Awning is going to be on this side. Well, this is the bottom of the trailer, but anyways, passenger side of the trailer, rooftop tent, majority of the weight is going to be in the front. I'm also going to have a tongue box in the front. Now, probably the wisest way to do this would be to just tack in place the leaf spring hangers and tack in place where the axle is going to be. And then as I'm able to add things to the trailer, I can then kind of decide where that axle is going to be placed once I've distributed the weight of the items that go into the trailer equally. So I know this is going to draw lots of questions, and I know I'll get a lot of comment. For now, I'm going to go with the 60-40 rule here, and I'm going to place that axle based on that principle. Oh, okay, so I didn't film all of that putting that down because, oh, that was fun. But in any case, the axle is, it's in there. I mean, mounts are tacked in place over there and there. Axle seems to drop in there nicely. today because it's getting pretty hot, and in just a little while I got to go get these tires mounted onto the wheels. The only thing I did since the last time you saw me was I added a fish plate there. Just to add a little more rigidity now. I feel like it's pretty solid. We're like talking about 3/8 of an inch thick here, and here. Boom. The Dexter instructions say to tighten this spindle nut is to put the bearings in, put the washer on, put the nut on, torque the nut down to 50 pounds, back it off, and then hand tighten it, and then put that lock ring on. And that's exactly what we did. Then we put the cap on here in the inspection cap. Right, here we go. Now the moment of truth. We're going to slide the axle underneath the trailer. We're going to test fit it and have a look at it. Maybe even get some tires on it. See how it goes. And there it is. Look at it. It's got its axle underneath it. It's looking great. Now I would have liked to have actually put the U-bolts through and actually kind of just test fit it and lightly bolt it together, but I didn't get the right nuts for the U-bolts in the kit, so now I got to go buy some hardware before I can permanently mount the axle underneath. But now what I really want to see is what it looks like with tires on it. Look at that. That is fantastic. Those tires fit on there perfectly. Plenty of room right in between there. I estimated at least 3 inches, and I got probably about 3.5 over there and over here. That looks fantastic. I like the height. Now, of course, that's going to change too. It doesn't have any weight on it, obviously, but that is fantastic. And that is definitely looking like something for sure. Since the last time you saw the Overland trailer, I don't quite know if I'd had this top rail put on yet, but I got the top rail put on. Got the corners built there, and in the front, of course, and I got the door built for the back, and that's kind of where the spare tire is going to go. I don't have that permanently mounted just yet, although I do have the hinges. I kind of wanted to wait a little bit. I kind of got a little far on it and thought, you know, maybe I'll just stop on that for a little bit. And of course, then about that time, my RV doors arrived in the mail here. So what I'm doing today is I'm just building the framework for that. I've got 2 pieces that are going to go in the top here and then the bottom there. The filler panel that I'm using, the ACM, will fill in this space right here nice, and it'll fill in this space down here nice. Actually, it's going to overlap the metal framework. So that panel from Piedmont Plastics, you won't see this metal framework underneath. You'll just see an opening, and the door is going to screw on right over the top of it and be sealed on with some seam sealer. One door down. So I haven't actually worked on the Overland trailer in about 2 or 2.5 weeks or so, maybe even 3 weeks. I was gone for a week in New Mexico for an event, but I came out here tonight just to kind of play around with this today. And I got the framework here built for that RV door. Put that center bar in right there. That's got to be welded in as well. Working on this bar here, and then I'll have a corresponding one on that side. And the last thing I want to do today is weld my hinges on for the swinging door. And this door is going to open to the passenger side, or to the shoulder side of the road. The frame I'm going to build for the rooftop tent is actually going to sit as far forward on the frame of the trailer as it can go. So the 120 pounds of rooftop tent is going to start right here, and it's going to go to, where did I mark it on the trailer? Here. The rooftop tent is going to live on this trailer, as well as the 270 awning. Alright, so now that I got the hinges on, I'm not so sure I like where I put the spare. Now where should I put it, you know? I mean, that's kind of the question. For now, I'll just leave it where it is and kind of tinker with it the way it is, unless I have some kind of a wild epiphany. Well, I didn't like it, so back to the drawing board. See you in the next video. Good morning, everybody. It's Chad from The Right Line. We're mounting some shocks to the Overland trailer today, and been a long time coming here. I haven't actually worked on the trailer here in about 2 weeks, but I'm mounting these shocks just inboard about 3 inches of the shackles on both sides, and it's going to come up to the cross member here. I've cut, just not welded in yet. You probably saw in my short I made some brackets. These are going to go up on the cross member above. I found these brackets actually on Amazon, but they're from Rough Stuff Specialties, and they're going to go here just like so. And I want to mount them at 0 degrees to the horizontal plane so nothing's hanging down.
I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
All right, on to the next. I found these shocks on Amazon, and they offer about 5 inches of travel, which is sufficient here for the travel that I have here between the frame and the top of the leaf spring perch. And they're to be mounted 12.5 inches apart, eye to eye. So that means I can float this cross member wherever I need it to be. I just have to come over 3 inches here and make sure that my eyes line up. Not bad for first guess. Just move it back 1.5 inches and we're golden. Cross member, it's square to this cross member here at 17 1/8, and then from eye to eye I'm 12.5, so exactly where I wanted it. And I'm putting the shock actually behind the axle because the travel of this suspension is up and back, because the movable shackle is in the back, the fixed shackle is in the front. So 12.5 inches from there to there. I think it's looking great. We are done for now welding in these shock mounts. Cross member, upper shock mount, lower shock mount. Same over there, lower shock mount, upper shock mount, cross member. Now that cross member is going to be nice because I found a slide that I want to put in the trailer here on either side from Morride, I think it is. And so that cross member will be nice because it'll add some support to those two slides. But in the last video that I filmed, I worked on this rack, and the rack is now done. It's actually not mounted. I'm going to leave it loose for now because I want to be able to use that weight to fine-tune coming into tongue weight. So that is not going to be mounted down anytime soon. And I finished my awning mounts. One here and one there. There's the awning on top there. So that has been done. I filmed a few shorts, but I didn't really have enough time to film a real full video like this one. I also capped off these frame ends there. One there, and then of course the opposite ones over there. Now, there's gonna be a stabilizer jack mounted right there and on the opposite side. Blank right here, this blank, is gonna be welded around that 3/4 inch light there. So it's gonna look kind of cool. That light is gonna be lighting up the inside of that, but that blank will also protect this light out on the trail so I don't damage anything. And then I've got some pipe here, and I'm going to cut out some pieces for the same thing here. These will be amber in the front, and then that piece that comes out will protect that light. Well, the other thing that I did since the last time was I welded in my leaf spring perches finally. Decided that's where I wanted the axle. I put some gussets in here from Super Duty headquarters. The gussets probably aren't really necessary, but I wanted to do it anyway. I got a gusset right there. You can see that one. So those are mounted in. And then I think today I'm going to start working on fenders. Alright, so we're on to the next part of the project for today, which is mounting the fender. And I've just kind of got it tacked in place where I want it. I'm using 1x2 for the frame, and then I'm just going to tack the two to weld the two together. And I think what I'm going to do, I still have some of this kind of thin material. I think I'll make like a little cover or blank for this and then weld that on so it looks finished and closed. And then I'm going to put a piece of tubing between here and there, and then between here and there, and kind of finish it off a little bit. Gives me about 5 3/4-ish, 6 inches of travel, which is plenty with the suspension that we have. This support is going to clear that tire if the tire were ever to go up high enough to do that. And we got plenty of room right here. We don't have to worry about the tire moving forward. We have to worry about the tire moving backwards and up. And so anyways, it's looking pretty good so far. What do you think?
Looks good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
This trailer is definitely coming along. I got a lot accomplished today. Fenders are tacked into place sort of where I want them. Shocks are in. So I think I'm going to end this video right here because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. I've got enough material I could close that off in the front and the back on both sides, but I think I've gotten enough done today. I think I'm going to call it quits. Today we're back on the Overland trailer. We got a day off of work. I finished off these fender supports. I got this one done in the front, and I got this one done in the back. I added a piece of angle iron here and here, so those would be steps. And then what I did is I made a little piece and I capped off this tubing and made this kind of blend into the fender. I did that all the way around. I think it actually turned out really good, but the most fantastic thing were these drawers. Really happy with these drawers. They're made for more ride. They're rated at 800 pounds a piece. Don't tell anybody, but I modified this one to come out just a little bit farther than that one. Not much, but just enough so that when the refrigerator sits in here, I can open the door enough where it clears this top rail and I can get into the back of the refrigerator. I think it's going to be just fine. I think it's going to work out great. And it mounted super easy. All I had to do was put in some angle iron braces here and here. Same on the other side, so I could bolt it down. It's got 4 bolts on either its tray holding it in. And this is going to be awesome. Refrigerator on this side, camping kitchen stuff on this side. I love it. It's going to be awesome. Today what we're doing is we're mounting the stabilizer jacks. And I'm going to have one stabilizer jack on this corner, one over on that corner. That'll stabilize the back half of the trailer. And then the third one is going to go on the tongue. Of course it'll mount right up here. Okay, that's going to be awesome because I won't have to put that on jack stand anymore. I bought a few extra of these blanks. These are the blanks that go inside here. This is where the stabilizer jack is going to weld on to the trailer frame here. So it'll look like this, right? And then inside is the clearance light, the red light. So it's going to look actually kind of cool. It's going to glow inside of that. I think that'll look pretty cool. I think to protect that stabilizer jack off-road, I'm going to take this, I'm going to weld it on up here. That way, when I don't want that jack hanging down so low, I can put it up onto here. I'll play around with that and see the way I like it. So you've seen the jacks down in the used position down there. Now this is the stowed position. Is I can screw the jack down and now it's not going to rattle. It's nice and solid there. That's that side. I cut a little notch right here so that, well, push that in, it stays in it. Keeps it from rattling. And then on the other side here too. So the stowed position is nice. Screwed that down so now they don't rattle. So out on the trail, that's going to be super quiet. And it's going to be free of obstacles. We're not going to be hitting those. Now, if you've been following this build for a while, you may remember way back when, I forget which video it was, where I had mounted the spare right here on the back of the trailer. And at least initially, I liked it. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think I was going to have enough weight on the front of the trailer to kind of help with tongue weight. So I cut that off. I didn't really like it. Plus, it stuck up way too high. I was trying to find out another place to put it, and I thought I'd stand it up on one of the fenders over on that side, but it's too tight and interferes with this rack for the rooftop tent. I thought I could lay it down flat right here, but the tire's too high and it barely clears the rack, so that wasn't going to work. I thought about getting rid of the box altogether, but that's going to kill some future plans, so I can't put it on the front. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here, front driver's side corner of the trailer. Now, it is going to interfere with the RV door that's right here, so I've come up with a solution for that. So what I've done is I ordered another one of these pivots from 4x Innovation. Now this is from the passenger side. They make one for the driver's side. It just swings this way instead of this way. So when that driver's side pivot comes, I'm going to mount it right here on the front bar here, and then basically there will be a tire carrier underneath here where this whole spare is going to pivot out just like the RV door would underneath. So I'll have a latch hidden right down here. The end of the tire carrier is going to come up to here where it's going to be butted up against a piece of angle iron for a stop. And I've got some nice thick like 3/4 inch material that'll keep it from rattling. And then this whole thing will swing out like that. I can open the RV door. It opens the same way. I can get in and out of the trailer all I want. And then when we're done and ready to travel, just close that up and lock it down. Doesn't interfere. That's actually okay. I like that. I get the second notch. Okay, good. Can't get the second notch. All right, so that touches, but it doesn't necessarily interfere. Okay, so that's good. I want to thank all of you for watching this series. This is what, like video 7 or 8 or whatever. I'll figure it out. But this is how it is. You know, I come out here, I put a little piece on here, a little piece on there, a little piece on there, and slowly I'm getting more and more and more done. And it's looking more and more like the trailer. I can't wait for this thing to be done. I can't wait to start putting the panels on, to put the floor in, to put the crossbars across here and put the roof on. And oh man, actually starting to mount stuff on here where I'm putting the tent on top and the awning over here. It's really starting to come together. I'm really digging how it's going. And on my Facebook group, the Rightline Outdoors, I posed a question. What should we name this thing? And so far the best one is Wookie Pup. Well, I mean, Chewy. Wookie Pup. Thanks, Jeremy. I like that one. I might just stick with that one. So initially I had the spare tire mounted right here. Didn't really like it. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put it. I was going to put it right there, right on the front of the trailer. Now it's nice because it puts the weight in the front, which is going to be nice for tongue weight. It doesn't stick out any wider than the track width of the trailer, which is nice. So I'm using a vertical latch toggle, I think is what they call that, to hold that closed. And then I ordered another pivot from 4x Innovations. Now this is the left-hand side, or the driver's side pivot. So unlike the door in the back, it's going to open to the left and not the right. So with that swinging open the way it does, it's going to allow me to get into this RV door that's behind here. Kind of excited how that worked out. Alright, so if anybody wants to know how much fun it is to carve out the front wheel hub of a Jeep JK unit bearing for that, it's not fun. There's the stop right there. Like a polyurethane bushing, and so it keeps this from bouncing. The only modification I think I might have to do, and I tested this here just a minute ago, is the gap between the wall here and that upright of the tire carrier. With the RV door in here, there's about 3/8 of an inch difference between the surface of the RV door and that right there. So I may have to notch this down there and tip this out just a little bit to get to clear that door. One more other cool thing I did here was in the rear door. Let me show you what I did there. That rear door swings open. It's got that 4x Innovations pivot down there, but I made a table. Now the table flips up like that with these brackets here that I found on Amazon, okay? And you squeeze this, and then the table comes down, and I'm gonna have Joseph work on a latch for me. Maybe have him 3D print a latch for me to hold that closed while we're traveling. Anyways, I think it's pretty cool. It's just a perfect size for a Coleman stove. Probably a perfect size for the base camp from Jetboil, and my Jetboil stove can go up here too, so I'm pretty thrilled about how that turned out. Alright, we're whittling down the steps on the trailer. It's getting closer and closer to getting done. I put my safety chains on about a week ago. The chains themselves are a little bit overkill for the application, but it's kind of what I had in the garage. I'm gonna go pick this up today. I don't have it yet, but I bought a lock and roll hitch, off-road hitch for the trailer, so that'll be in the next video. Next up, wiring the trailer. I'm not going to get to the secondary wiring for the trailer yet, i.e. the lithium battery and power inverter and charging system and all that. I'm not going to get to that for at least a little bit, but I am going to put LED lights in the back, stop lights, turn lights, all that stuff, that good stuff. Of course, I've got my clearance lights that I have to mount here and up there, and the brakes. Got to get that done, and then I can go get it inspected, get a tag on it. Anyways, this was just a really short video. This is really all the time I had today to go over the trailer. I've got to get some other stuff done around the house. Thank you for following along with this build. I think this is video 8, I think. Next time. Admittedly today, I wasn't really prepared to film a real great video, but I just wanted to give you an update on how far I've gotten up until this point. The goal for today's project on the Overland trailer was to get all of the aluminum side panels mounted on the trailer. You can see the inside here. There's the back door and the floor. The driver's side RV door here is a little bit unique because I have the spare tire mount right there in the front. This is how we open it. This is this pivot from 4x Innovations. It's an awesome pivot, and this is the driver's side pivot. These RV doors here are great because they'll give us full access to the front half of the storage compartment in the trailer. The back half is going to be the kitchen. I wanted to make the back door a little bit more secure, so you can see what I did right there. I made some pieces that actually cover that latch up where there's going to be a padlock. Make it just a little bit harder to get in there. I've got all the primary circuits for the trailer wired, and I'm using a 7-way round connector. I put in this junction box underneath, and the reason for that is, number one, it's neater, and then number two, it'll make disassembly easier when I'm getting ready to paint. To make the grounds easier, I welded 3 of these studs onto the frame so I can ground all the lights anywhere I want. You can see this weather-tight connector here. I put a few of these in the trailer circuits because it'll provide a nice tight weather-tight seal. Be easier for disassembly and for service if the need arises. And I know the lighting here is terrible, I'm sorry, but what I think is cool is that Dexter buried the trailer brakes wires inside the axle tube, so they're much easier to run them there. And then I learned something about trailer brakes. I didn't think it mattered which side of the magnet in the drum that you applied power to, as long as there was a ground, but it does matter, and I figured that part out when I was testing the brakes. Here's the large service loop I put in the wiring, and you saw that weather-tight seal. And LED red lights in the back for brake and turn. Those are really cool. I got them on Amazon, and they just happen to fit there really, really well. I got red marker lights for the back corner, and you'll notice I put them in where the stabilizer jack goes to protect them. And here in Arizona, I have to have amber lights in the front for clearance, so I got some of those as well. I got my safety chains mounted too. I don't remember if that was on the last video or not, but admittedly, these chains are probably overkill, but that's okay. I don't mind overkill. Today I started mounting the tongue toolbox. I got pilot holes started on the tongue where I'm going to mount the toolbox. I just need to go get the 5/16 drill bit and a 3/8 tap so I can mount that to the tongue of the trailer. And everything today was going great until I misdrilled one hole there. I'm kind of miffed about that. Now I got to come up with a way of covering that hole. Got the license plate spot picked out. I got the side steps, the aluminum all mounted there. There's the flooring inside of the trailer again. So as you can see, the Overland trailer is coming along really well. I didn't film a lot of the work I did because, well, to be honest, the work would have been boring for you to watch. So lots of work going into this trailer. Really super excited with how it's coming along. Next, I have to finish mounting the tongue box, and then before you know it, it'll be ready for paint. The side panels I bought for this is called ACM. It's sold by Piedmont Plastics here locally in Phoenix. It's 1/8 of an inch thick, and it does come in colors. These are red with the sheet over the top as a protectant layer, but you can see right here and above where I was pointing is where I'm going to mount my latches for the back door. Oh man, and I really messed up the lighting, but here I am putting the rooftop tent and the awning mount on the top of the trailer. Now, that's bolted on to the frame of the trailer. I still have to drill and tap those holes, but that is going to be really awesome. The height of all that stuff doesn't exceed the height of the Jeep, which is really nice. My son asked me a few days ago if I had to use geometry and math when I was building this trailer, and I had to say yes, and then pointed out these angular pieces there for that rack. Thanks so much for following along with this trailer build. I'm really excited with how it's coming along. We got a few steps left to go before it's finished, but Joe and I are going to the Big Bear JJUSA Jamboree in May, and we want to get this ready to go for that trip. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Chad from The Right Line. It's a beautiful Sunday, and today I was painting. It has been a long 7 months since I started this project of cutting and measuring and fabricating, and finally we have paint on this trailer. Over the last 7 months I've tried real hard to be creative to make this trailer mine and, well, unique. Because to be sure, there isn't another trailer quite like this one. One thing that's really nice about taking your time with something like this is you can make it exactly the way you want it. I wouldn't say I'm a professional painter, but I think it turned out pretty good. This paint color is Rust-Oleum's Glossy Smoke Gray, I think is what it's called. I think it turned out pretty good. So it's a Sunday. This trailer should be ready to be kind of handled by, I don't know, let's say Tuesday afternoon maybe. So Tuesday after work I'll be able to come back out here and start reassembly. Putting the rack on the very top. Get the tires and wheels back on. Take out all the plastic. Reinstall the drawers in the back. Go over to the DMV and get it inspected. Last video that I filmed on this trailer was a live. I don't really film YouTube lives very much, but I said I'd try to come in here today and film something nice today for the channel. So this color, smoke gray, was a little bit lighter than I really wanted. But overall, I'd say it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. It looks like primer gray, but we've got somebody local who does stickers and decals, and I'm gonna see if I can have her do some graphics for me for this panel here and then the one on the other side. I actually thought it would be really sweet to have an American flag put across the top. I had to mask off the inside of this trailer and these two front doors and the back door to keep that smoke gray off this beautiful red color. Let me tell you what went in putting this trailer together. So these panels are ACM aluminum composite material. They're sold locally here in Phoenix by a place called Piedmont Plastics. And this just happened to be red. They come in all kinds of different colors, but I decided to leave the interior red. And the way the panels were put on, you can see just a little bit right there. There's some seam sealer. I seam sealed all the panels onto the trailer and then pop riveted them in place. So no leaks with inclement weather. And that's how all the panels went on. I'm really happy with how the panels came together here. Real nice snug fit. Floor looks really nice. In the back there, if you've been following along, you can kind of tell that right there on both sides I have some more ride drawers, and really thrilled with how this came together. And I know I've said this once before, but I'm not a professional painter. But my cousin is, up in Idaho. JC, don't make fun of me, man. Okay, so some stats on this trailer. It's 4 feet wide, 8 feet long, 2 feet high. That's the box, 4 by 8 by 2. It's got a 3,500 pound Dexter axle underneath it. And with electric brakes. I don't remember the size of the drums. And I have a really nice brake controller to install inside the Jeep. I haven't got to that part yet. And then that rack right there, which is completely upside down and backwards, goes on the top of the trailer for rooftop tent and 270-degree awning. In the front here, right where these holes are there, and there is the toolbox, tongue box that goes onto here. And that's where I'm gonna have my lithium-ion battery and charge controller and power inverter and the whole 9 yards wired up. So pretty thrilled about that. And then right on the front part of this box, here to there, I have a 100-watt Renogy solar panel. So this really is truly gonna be a self-contained trailer. All right, so if you've been following along, I think this is part 11 of the trailer. Again, it's Sunday, so this upcoming week, I'm gonna start reassembly, putting it back together again, getting all the electronics in. I gotta go take it to get it inspected, get a VIN and a tag, and hopefully I can record when I go to do that. And then I'm gonna start putting on the tongue box, the electronics, and all the lights inside, the lights underneath, the lights on the rack. Hoping to get this done fully assembled for the Big Bear Jamboree coming up in May. I know I got some time, but like everybody else, I work a full-time job, so. Come on, focus. There's a red light in there, trust me. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Chad from The Right Line, and this is going to be part 12 of the Overland trailer build. I know it's been a while since I've had a video uploaded about this trailer, but a lot has happened, a lot has been happening, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an update of where we are. Before we get too much into where we are right now, I wanted to give you a little bit of a history of where this trailer build idea came from. Okay, so before the trailer started, we had a Sunray 109 mini camper travel trailer, I guess you would call it, and I towed it behind Chewy. The camper always felt real heavy to me, although it was advertised at like 1,250 pounds dry. I couldn't store the camper here at home because, well, it was too big. It was about 6 inches too tall. It wouldn't clear the garage door, which to me became a huge headache because anytime I wanted to use it, I had to go pick it up from where it was being stored and drag it home and prep it, which was easily an hour just in prep by itself before we could even leave. So often what would happen is Joseph and I would pack for a camping trip, and then we wouldn't get to our camping site until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, simply because we wanted to leave after work just to kind of make sure to take advantage of 3 days of camping. So the idea of selling the camper was birthed, and using some of the proceeds of that to build the Overland trailer, which at some point I'm going to get into a price breakdown of what's been spent for this trailer. It is over budget, no doubt, but it's at least what I want. Folks have asked me about this, is what did it cost for me to build the Overland trailer? And I have a total. I rounded it up just a little, but in any case, sold off the travel trailer and decided to build my own Overland trailer. The Overland trailer, if I round up with everything, tires, wheels, oh, it also has 10-inch brakes, everything, $7,500. That's what it cost to build the Overland trailer. So to build this new trailer, I had a few goals in mind, like, number one, the trailer had to be small enough to fit in the garage and tuck back in this corner here. It's a perfect place to store it in this corner. I stored it at home so I can easily get into it, load it, charge batteries, whatever. So it would be so much more convenient than having to deal with that camper. Number two, the trailer had to be light enough and nimble enough for me to be able to move it around in the garage without killing myself. And we'll get to weight in a little bit. Because, as it turns out, weight is a factor with this trailer, especially when I'm dragging it behind Chewy. And number three, the third goal, is that this trailer had to support myself and Joseph, at a minimum, my son, And then if all of us went, it had to be able to support myself, my son, my wife, and our dog. The rooftop tent is big enough for 2.5 people, but to achieve goal 3, which hasn't been achieved yet, I'm gonna buy the annex for below this canopy rooftop tent, and then that'll support all 4 of us. I took the trailer over to our local DMV office, went through the inspection, and boom, got a VIN plate. They put a VIN plate on the trailer when you're done with it, and then they give you a title and your trailer is licensed. Now the trailer is licensed and it's ready to go, and after that started final assembly. Now I've been through the inspection process before with another trailer, and the last time I went through it they said show us your pictures, show us all your receipts. Basically they want you to prove that you didn't A, steal this, B, buy this, and 3, that you actually built a home built trailer by yourself. So Joseph and I went with a whole envelope full of receipts, a whole stack of pictures here, and all the information needed to prove that this was a home built trailer. I had done this once before with another trailer and they kind of gave me grief. This time, nothing. The guy just made some checks on his checklist and we were done. Okay, so we are not fully, completely done with the trailer just yet. I mean, you see the door, you see the drawers, you see the rooftop tent, you see the awning, the spare is mounted, and I showed you the tongue box, but we're not exactly done yet. For the secondary stuff, I started up here in the tongue box and trying to get all the electrics mounted. And where I really had to start with first is I had to build a battery tray for our iron phosphate lithium iron phosphate battery. So I've got a nice tray built here. I've got a cover that goes over the top of it. And then next what I started was mounting the power inverter, the fuse panel, charge controller's not been mounted yet, and then all the circuit breakers to protect all the circuits inside this trailer. We've got one for the power inverter, one for the refrigerator, one for the charge controller, and then this one is for the rest of the electrics inside the fuse box. The other thing I did here on the outside of the box was I put a voltage meter, USB ports, 110 volt port, and then now I got 4 of these vents on the side of the box to vent this trailer tongue box, because we're gonna have all these electrics in here. So I've got louvered vents here and here. All right, next we mounted the Renogy 100-watt solar panel to the top of the trailer. Ran the wires down. I'm not exactly done with those wires yet, but then the wires go down into the tongue box to the charge controller. Real excited about this. This should keep that lithium iron phosphate battery plenty charged, and it should run everything that we need to run. Got the rooftop tent mounted. Really excited about that. This is an Overland Vehicle Systems 2.5 person canopy rooftop tent. Mouthful there, I know. And there is an annex available for this tent, so I'm super excited about that. Also got our 270-degree awning from Foxwing Oz Tent, rather. Got that mounted on here too, so super excited to use this. Now that awning was mounted on our camper, and when I sold the camper, I kept the awning. I had to mount some vents in the side of the trailer box here so that the trailer could vent, especially because I'm putting the refrigerator in the back, and I didn't want huge amounts of heat to build up. This is where the refrigerator is going to sit right there, and then there's the vent directly above, and there's the inside of the box. I didn't paint the inside because I kind of like the red of the panels. It looks pretty cool. I like it. Okay, next up it was wiring. So we started the wiring to the back of the box here. My son 3D printed a switch panel mount for me. Now we're going to put another one right behind it, and on that one is going to be the remote switch for the power inverter and a 110 volt plug. But I've got this switch panel to go back here, and this is going to control the lights that we have. I have under the trailer lights, and I have inside the box lights, another USB power for the refrigerator, another voltmeter. I'll have 2 empty switches here, and super excited how that's turned out. It's actually come together real nice now. I'm not completely done. I still have to wire loom all this stuff, but it's really turned it out well. I started with wiring in the front part of the trailer. Found a nice pass-through for wires, and this is just, you can kind of see the wire harness I started building here. That runs all the way to the back, and When that's done, that'll all be split loomed and it'll look really nice. Joseph printed me another switch panel right here. This one has 2 light switches, one for the lights inside the tongue box and then one for the lights here inside the main storage area with USBs. And last night I finished with the wiring harness here, ran that all the way down to that pass-through right there. So that's where the trailer's sitting right now. Today my project is to set the wires for those 2 lights and those 2 lights and run the connectors back to this switch panel. I also have to run the wire up through the floor for the LED lights that are underneath the trailer. So I got a little bit of work to do today. Now, when it comes down to weight, for comparison's sake, our camper was advertised at 1,250 pounds dry when we first bought it. Later, that was revised, I think 1,680 or something like that, dry, which means that fully loaded, I was probably maxing out the Jeep dragging that trailer. The limits for the Jeep are only a 2,000 pound towing capacity and a 200 pound tongue weight. This trailer comes in quite a bit lighter than the camper, so it should be much easier to tow. Alright, so the last video in this series is either going to be a full walk around with it completely done, or it'll be a video of us out camping and I'll give you a walk around out in the middle of nowhere somewhere. This trailer has come a long way. This build started in August. It's over budget by, well, I don't know, let's just say a little bit. You know, the way things are these days, things are a little bit more expensive. If you like what you saw and you've been following along with this build series, this is video 11. And if you like what you saw, please consider a like, comment, or share. And don't forget to subscribe. I don't know what the next project is going to be after this. There's always something in mind. I can't sit still and I always have to have some kind of a project going. Welcome back, everybody. Today is a big day. We're testing all the electrical components inside the trailer. Before we get started, I have to tell you that I told you a little bit of a fib on my last video. I told you that this next video that I was going to film was going to be out camping someplace. And instead, what we're going to do is electrical testing day. We got everything all hooked up. We got all the wires squared away. We got wire loom on everything. Woo, hello. Everything looks good, everything's tied down, and now we're gonna test it. All right, so this morning I charged my Renogy 100 milliamp lithium iron phosphate battery. I had to get that straight. I got that charged. I had to buy a special charger for a lithium ion battery because apparently you have to have those. Battery's all charged up at 13.2 volts, and so we are all ready to go. Let me kind of give you the rundown of what is inside the tongue box here. Again, we have the 100 milliamp Renogy battery. I have a 90 amp resettable circuit breaker for the Renogy 2000 watt pure sine inverter right there. We have a 15 amp resettable circuit breaker for the refrigerator. That's in the back. We have a 30 amp resettable circuit breaker for the charge controller and the whole solar system. We have an 80 amp resettable circuit breaker for all of the accessory lighting and all the accessory electronics. They're all wired, fused, and grounded in this fuse box here. Now, just to give you an idea of grounds, the fuse box is grounded to the chassis right back here on this bolt. The fuse box here is grounded on the ground over here to the battery right there. The battery is grounded to the chassis right down below. Plus we got a ground stud right there. We got a ground stud right there. We got a ground stud there. From right to left, we're going to check these circuits, make sure everything is working, starting with the 2000 watt power inverter. Okay, let's turn that on. Oh, and by the way, I do have a load on the power inverter already, just in case. And I have a 110 volt outlet here. And then we've got one in the back of the trailer that we're going to try out. Okay. I actually wired up the remote switch. You may not be able to see this with the light. Let me get close here. Okay. Oh, I heard it beep. Power inverter's on. Light's working. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's go check the back outlet right here. And plugging in something electrical to check here. Fantastic. Refrigerator, we're gonna check later. Solar, I'm going to turn this on, and I kind of played around with this for a few minutes earlier. I have on the Wanderer charge controller here, I have the battery connected to this charge controller, but I don't have the solar panel connected to the charge controller yet. I'm going to test that probably tomorrow. I'm not going to fuss with that today, but I am going to turn it on and kind of explain things to you. All right, so it is set for blue, which means lithium-ion battery. So this is ready to go to charge the Renogy 100 watt battery. Now, I did install the Bluetooth module, but I was having some trouble with getting it connected to the phone. It finally did connect, but it really wouldn't show much information because I didn't have the solar panel connected. So I'll get some more information on that at some point once I get the solar panel connected. Okay, next on the list is all the accessory stuff. Now these are all the lights and everything else that I've wired on the trailer that are wired through that fuse panel here. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. Okay, now we do have lights inside the trailer tongue box. We got lights inside the main compartment in the front and in the back right there. Ooh, come on up. Right up there. Here's the switch panel that controls it. That's live. I just flipped that circuit breaker, so now we're good to go. These lights are for the inside and the tongue box, and I don't remember which switch is for which, so we're going to find out. Okay, this one's for the inside of the main compartment. Fantastic. Let's do the other one here, tongue box. What's that say there? What did my son label that? Main cabin lights and forward cabin light. Oh, I love it. All right, there's one. Looks like it's working just fine. Looks like that one's working just fine. Okay, success. Now that we're working back here, let's go check out the back. All right, here's the main switch panel. This is where everything's gonna happen back here. This does have a volt meter back here, so I can kind of see what's going on with the battery and all. I've got 4 switches back here. 2 of these are functional. These are 2 open switches because I don't have accessories back here for that. This is for the inside light, and these are for the lights underneath. Let's go ahead and give those a shot. Fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. Frickin' working. The next set of lights I'm kind of happy about, and the only reason why I put them on there was because my friend Jim has a bean camper and he's got lights underneath his. So Jim, check this out. Boom, Jim, how do you like them apples, huh? Red, green, blue, white, orange, yellow, CY, I don't know what that means. Really kind of excited about that. That's gonna be cool around camp. So I've got a USB port back here to charge whatever, and it's live, so I'm really excited about that, being able to charge stuff. Got the refrigerator actually plugged in, and truth be told, the refrigerator's actually been out here running for about the last half hour. It started at 78, it's at 46 now, and it seems to be working out just fine. Just to finish up on the electrics here, this is what I have on the side of the tongue box. I've got a voltmeter, another USB that's live, two of them in there that are 2 amps each, the 110, and then also I installed these louvered vents, and I've got 4 of them on here. I think I showed them to you in the last video, but it's very clear in the instructions for everything for like the battery and the charge controller that these things have to be vented. So they're all vented. Okay, so everything is working, everything is running, there's no smoke, there's no flames. I'm super excited about this. And with that, I am going to declare this trailer done. Now, 5 minutes from now, I'm gonna say that it's not done and there's something else I need to do because there's something I forgot. Ooh, man, I started this project in August. It's fantastic, it's turned out great. Oh, and I'm also gonna tell you how heavy it was. In my last video, I said I'd mention that. So I took it to a friend's shop and I weighed it, and dry, without the refrigerator battery, it was 1,250 pounds. I did have the tent on and I did have the awning on. It doesn't matter because it tows great behind the Jeep, and it's exactly what I wanted this to turn out to be. Oh, okay, refrigerator's at temp. Fantastic. So all the circuits are working in the trailer. Super excited about that. I don't wanna jinx myself and say anything that I shouldn't. I've been pretty lucky with wiring in the past, and I really took my time with this to make sure everything was done right and fused and circuit breakered and laid out all the wires real nice and wire limbed everything. Okay, so now the next video will be with Joe and I out camping in this thing, and that'll be the final video of this build series. The electrical was a big step today, making sure that all of that was working as it should, and to make sure that we didn't have any flames and we didn't have any smoke. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name's Chad. That's Joseph right over there. And this weekend is the first run that we're taking with the Overland trailer since it's been completed. I know it's been a while since it's been done, but this is the first weekend out. We're out here in Prescott Valley. It's beautiful. We're at a friend's house camping out. We're gonna go run Smiley Rock today, and we're camping in his backyard, and the trailer is freaking awesome. Everything's working out pretty good. It rained last night. Everything stayed dry. All the seals and the doors and everything worked. It's freaking awesome. So we are back home from our trip up to Prescott Valley. We went and ran a trail called Smiley Rock, and we took the trailer for its shakedown run, and everything in the trailer worked great except for one thing. The solar situation here, I sort of figured would be a bit of a problem when I first built the trailer. There's not a whole lot of real estate on the top of the box of the trailer to mount our Renogy 100-watt solar panel. So I mounted it here, and as you can see, sunlight, no sunlight. So this solar panel right now, only about half of the panel is getting any sun. We're only charging at 7 watts. This is a 100-watt solar panel. I kind of anticipated this was going to be a problem, and I have an idea of how I'm going to fix it, but the problem is since this is so inefficient with where it's located, it wasn't fully charging our lithium iron phosphate battery, and it died sometime late last night. I have an idea of what we're going to do. I'm going to relocate the solar panel a little bit further forward for travel, and then I'm going to make some mounts and a longer power cord here so that I can take the panel off, set it on the ground in the sun in the morning to the east and in the sun in the evening to the west, so that way it'll be a little bit more efficient. And this is what I came up with. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I just wanted to give you a brief video of this new Renogy DC to DC battery charger that I wired into Chewy. I was having some troubles with maintaining and keeping voltage in the battery from the solar out on trips, so I wanted something more consistent. So here I am. I'm just going to fire this up for the first time and do some testing. So this charger is wired directly to my alternator, and I actually have it switched on my Rough Country MLC6 switch panel here, so I can turn it on and turn it off. So today is the first time fire up of this DC to DC charger, and I've just got my voltmeter out here. I'm just going to check things, make sure that everybody is happy and it's working as it ought to. Input from the alternator gets me 13.1 volts. Charging from the back of the alternator directly, it's 14.3, so I've lost a volt here someplace, but output to the Overland trailer battery is 13.1, I think that was. The light was a little bit awkward, but anyways, directly from the Overland trailer battery here, my voltage is 13.15, so pretty consistent right out of the back of the charger. And then I'm going to switch to DC amps because I want to make sure that we are charging amps wise as it ought to. So I'm just going to probe the power output power lead here, and 19.7. It's a 20 amp charger, so that's pretty close. And then right at the Overland trailer battery through the DC clamp, it's 13.6, 13.7, so pretty consistent. I've had the Jeep running now for about 10 minutes, so I'm just checking all my connections and wires to see if anything is really hot, see if anything is obviously smoking or catching fire. Nothing there. I used Anderson SB50 plugs there, and then I managed to find those insulated boots on PowerWorks, so I had those are basically waterproof now. Wires here all look good. They're not hot or anything else. And I have 30 amp fuses that are protecting the circuits both in the Jeep and in the Overland trailer here. And everything was really clean. Everything went together really well. I'm really happy about this, and it seems like everything's working. This isn't a how-to video, but I did follow all of Renogy's instructions on using the appropriate wire size, which in this case is 10 gauge and 30 amp fuses to protect these circuits both in the trailer and in the Jeep. Charging at 13.2 volts there. Really happy with how all this turned out. I might do a little bit more testing this week because in April we're getting ready to do a big trip in northern Arizona. Hey, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like what you saw, consider a like, comment, or a share. Leave a comment down below. I thought that putting all of those videos together into one big video might make that a little bit more convenient to see and to kind of more consistently see what the progress was with this trailer. This was the biggest trailer build that I've ever had. I've had 3 of them in the past, and this was the best one that I think that I've done that's turned out really, really well. This trailer's turned out great, and in the meantime, a couple other things have changed. I did get the annex. The annex works great. I ended up raising the tent up off of the mount another inch because it needed to be a little higher, and then I also raised the trailer suspension 2 inches, and then that would allow that annex to more evenly hit the ground. Anyways, these videos are really, really popular on my channel. Everybody seems to like watching them. I hope you like this one. And again, if you like what you saw, hit a like, share the content, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.